We're recording. Welcome, welcome, welcome to All Majority.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Shae.
And on our channel, we discuss all sorts of things pertaining to spirituality and life on earth and law of attraction and everything and anything universe related, essentially.
Just how to navigate this earth school that we've all chosen so that we may transmute or learn lessons or et cetera, whatever we are here to do. Let's explore how we can do that with more ease.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited for our topic today. As soon as we were done with our show last week, I kind of had a download on what I wanted to talk about this week. And this week's topic, of course, is witchcraft. And I'm really excited to actually address this because I know that there is so many perceptions and misperceptions about what is witchcraft, what is it like to be a witch in a real way, not just like a fantasy cosplay way, but in a real way. How does witchcraft work in people's lives? How do real witches exist? And I'm really excited to talk about this. How about you, Shae?
We have been practicing witches legitimately for a year, but like kind of not illegitimately, but like in training for about like 3 years now, I feel.
Yeah, I would agree. And like earlier in my life, I had a whole section of time that I was really studying witchcraft, and right before I actually joined a different spiritual movement. So I also know that like everything else, we all wear different hats, we all wear different roles, we all wear different masks. Sort of depend on the roles that we're designated to play, the ones that we've actually chosen, by the way. Okay. So in some places, I put on the hat of mother, and some I put the hat of sister, and some I'm the advocate, and some I'm the daughter, in some I'm the medium, in some I'm the tarot reader, in some I'm the witch. And what really witchcraft is, and this is really kind of the point of where I want to go with this, witchcraft is nothing more than law of attraction. And it's just an older version, a more ancient version that's been passed down throughout the ages. Now, when I say witch, just understand that the witch archetype comes in many forms. There is no one way to be a witch. There is no one way to practice witchcraft. For some, what this means is they follow a religion, Wicca, for example. For some, it just means this is the role that I've taken on to try to describe the way that I interact with the universe using ancient patterns that the universe already knows and recognizes. And I'll do it through spells rather than mantras and prayer, but it's the same exact thing. If I want to do a spell, let's say for love, I might have some tools in front of me to assist, just to draw in the vibration. Mm-hmm. I might be doing a ritual. I might have an altar in front of me that already has a bunch of resonance, where I've already been spending time in prayer and contemplation and movement of energy. I might have a spell in front of me that I read the words that the universe already recognizes as a pattern. And I'm definitely going to put in my emotion and my intent. And what else is law of attraction but that exact thing? Mm-hmm. What else is it except for prayer and focused intent? So witchcraft is nothing more than a focusing of energy, a focusing of emotion, a focusing of intent, using a pattern already established, well established by the witches who have come before us throughout the ages, to include our own selves, to include our own prior lifetimes as when we've acted as witches. And so this is really what we mean by witchcraft, and how, to me, in my mind, it's the same exact thing as law of attraction. In fact, when I started following law of attraction was around the same time. when we started to really pay attention to the language around that, and what do they mean by that? And what is law of attraction? And what do we mean by vibration and frequency? All of those same things actually started to ramp up at the same time. And it's just really because the universe takes the path of least resistance. And so it goes with the knowledge you already know and you're already comfortable with. Now, I know I've had memories of prior lives of being a witch, of doing witchcraft. So it's just easy. It comes easy to go to that. It feels familiar. It feels like actually anyone can do it. And I know that that's the case. And so whatever tradition a person decides to follow when it comes to witchcraft, that's up to them. That's completely up to them. I do want to read something, and this is really good to know, because the other thing about witchcraft is witches have had a little bit of issue with persecution throughout time. Yes, we all know about that. And what is that? What is that about? Well, to me, this really speaks to the fact that witchcraft and witches have operated outside the traditional structure of the patriarchy, outside the traditional structure of society. This makes people nervous when they're not sure, what is this person doing? Where is the source of this person's power? And of course, the source of our power is us, right? The witches have known this all along. But just understand that there is a mindset amongst those who use witchcraft generally that follows along, which what I'm going to read this, what is called the Wiccan law. And this is really out of Wicca. So just know this, but just understand the mindset and the thought process behind it. It goes like this. Bide the Wiccan law ye must, in perfect love, in perfect trust. 8 words the Wiccan read fulfill, and ye harm none, do as ye will. And ever mind the rule of 3, what ye send out comes back to thee. Follow this with mind and heart, and merry ye meet, and merry ye part. So the rule of 3 is nothing more than an understanding and an acknowledgement that what you put out will come back to you, even more so, even 3-fold, even 10-fold, right? So it's the idea that the movement of energy is just that. It's real. Energy is everything. So whatever I put out into the world, that comes back. And again, I'll just point out that this has been a source of fear for others because witches have looked and felt powerful. And it's because we know. It's because we understand that it's real. And here's the other part about this. The more you actually believe in yourself, in your own power, the easier it is to actually do spells and do witchcraft that you'll see the results of. It's a powerful being who believes in themselves. It's a powerful being who loves himself and who knows and understands their own power. And power is really what this is. That's all it is. And we talk about good and evil, the balance between thereof. Who wins the battles between good and evil? It's who has the most power. And so hence, at the end of the day, witchcraft is merely a movement of energy, a movement of power, just using the traditions of the past. What do you think, Shae?
Well, you broke that down beautifully. You really, you really, really did. Only thing I can add is it's being a witch is opening yourself to be this channel of intuitive divine energy that can then place the energy where it should go. Like the law says, like the creed mentions. I think that people have this connotate witch with evil, but
Right.
all the witches, the true witches, they're only doing good. They only want to do good because because they have this understanding that things come back threefold. So I'm not going to play with the energy and send something dark out because I know that that's what I will receive back.
Exactly. And are there witches that do dark magic and do dark things? 100%. It's an energy exchange they have to perform, and they understand that. And again, I think that's what scares people a little bit, is being willing to work with the light or dark. Sometimes that scares people, that makes people nervous when they talk about witches. The other part is this: it's possible to be a witch and act as a witch and do witchcraft and still have whatever religion or whatever god or goddess you believe in.
Yeah.
That's not the point. There are witches who are real strict about who they worship, deity wise. But essentially, we're all acknowledging and worshiping and understanding our Mother Earth, right? We all are paying attention to the moon and the cycles of the moon, and we're acknowledging the power in the exchange of energy between the sun and the moon, between the moon and us, between our bodies, the water within our bodies, and how the earth and the moon really cause us to flow in different states, and how all of this comes into play. So that's why you'll see the ancient rites that the witches did. They're outside, they're dancing under the moon. We've literally danced under the moon together, have we not?
We will again.
And we will again. It's joy. And actually, when we're out there doing that, dancing under the moon, middle of the night under the full moon, what we're doing is expanding joy. That's what it is. And we're just being in a state of complete gratitude and complete alignment. And that's actually the other part about it, is the coven. It's the community, it's the connection, it's the ability of the members to be able to connect not only themselves like emotionally, but their spiritual powers together. So then we as a group, and how is this different than really when people get together and do group prayers? It's no different. It's a prayer to the universe. It absolutely is. So when we come together as a coven and we're doing rituals and we're doing ceremonies, that's what it's doing. It's bonding us, but it's combining our power to basically put something out into the universe to heal the earth, to heal each other, to heal all of us. And that's really, that's really what it's all about at the end of the day, is just tapping in to both our own innate power, everything that we've been given, the powers in the universe that are out there, the powers of creation, our ability to create our reality, our ability to own our reality and just own the creation thereof, and stop letting things happen to you. In fact, no, be a creator of your experience and your universe. And that's really what we're doing. So why do the spells? Why do the magic? That's what it is we're doing. We're enhancing our life. We're transmuting our souls. And we're just bringing ourselves back to the divine beings that we actually are.
Yes, absolutely. And I've heard the different phrases more recently on my social media, just based on who I follow, oh, I'm kitchen witch or garden witch or candle witch or whatever it is. And it really is just a way of using your intuition in
Yes.
those spaces. It's
Right.
like, sometimes I really feel like a kitchen witch when I'm out there and mixing my herbs and I'm being one with these. Everything is energy. So part of
Yes.
witchcraft is what the tools that you're working with. It is being one with those and combining the intuition of the tool with yourself. And then this universal energy, it's being the channel as well, so that you can perform and send out whatever it is that you're trying to do. Love, joy, happiness. Yesterday, I was actually with a group of people, and this woman was telling me about she had somebody read her a tarot. She had someone read her tarot. She was
Yeah.
like changing all the things, and I was like, "Oh, I have my tarot in the room. I'll read you tonight." And she was like, "You will?" I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, didn't really, was like taken aback. It's not that serious. I want people to know it's not that serious. There's a flip side where it is serious,
Definitely.
It's like you do have the ability to do all these things. Because I was like, oh, well, you could get tarot yourself. You could go get a tarot deck yourself and start reading for yourself. And she was like, I could never. I don't have the energy. I was like, okay, well, if you think that, then maybe you're right. Maybe you don't, but it's definitely possible. I mean, you don't have to. Everybody has the ability to tap into this. You don't need to go find someone special that does it for you. You can do it. You can do it.
You definitely can do it. And I think part of why we've had that mindset is because we've been programmed through organized religion that a certain hierarchy exists with universal knowledge, that you have to be a special person to have access to that, and that we, the commoner, has to go to a holy person or a spiritual person and ask the question, when the truth is that we actually, any of us can ask, and any of us can tap into that at any time. Not everybody's used to communing with the universe though. So I'm not surprised to hear you tell that story, because some people will be like, oh, that's scary. What's scary about it is just that they might consider that they could be the ones to tap into the universe and to get that universal knowledge for themselves. It just makes sometimes people uncomfortable. For us, like I was saying at the beginning, I think we've done this in many lifetimes, so it feels quite comfortable. I feel quite at ease doing it. And really, when it comes to tools of divination, such as tarot, and again, it goes back to what I was saying about it's a pattern. It's a pattern that the universe recognizes. So it's tapping into that synchronistic nature of the universe when we pull tarot. And it's no accident the cards that we pull up. And it's so interesting. We've said this before, how very often the card you pull will even describe the question that you're asking. So it is just being comfortable, being able to look at the symbol of it and find out what is the universe trying to tell you. And just knowing this, we're always writing our story. So even though we say it's divination and it appears to be divination, all it's doing is it's noticing and commenting on what is and what is currently the path. Anyone can change their path. Anyone can change their thread. Anyone can change their timeline if they choose to jump to something else. So all tarot is doing is showing you, it's allowing you to see. Because sometimes, especially for our own self, we can't see our own patterns. We can't see beyond ourselves. So sometimes if I'm not sure, what am I missing here? What do I need to know here? Go to the tarot and lay it out. Sometimes the tarot will show you things. And I know there'll be times I'll pull the tarot and I'll be like, no, I don't like that answer. And I'll just like, it doesn't mean that or whatever. It must not mean that. And it always does. It always means that. I'll try to pull another different card or a different deck. I'm going to get the same. Like, I'm not going to be able to, because the universe is just commenting on, hey, this is what you're looking at now. This is how you're writing the story. This is where this is going. And it's just me. It's my own subconscious communicating with me. And that's really honestly what it is. And I feel that way about all the different sort of methods of divination. It's me, it's us, communicating with us. And even on a larger level, if we think about the fact that we're all connected, everything that we do, all of our interactions are just a mirror of ourselves. So right now I'm talking to you, Shae, but I'm talking to me. Yep. I'm talking to whomever's watching, but I'm actually just commenting to me. I'm affirming me and my own divinity and my own power. And so that's what we do throughout our lives as we go throughout. We either affirm ourselves, we shrink ourselves down, we tell ourselves we can't do this. This is not something I can experience or do, or we say the opposite and we decide we can. And to me, that's part of what the power of witchcraft is, and the witches are, is this willingness to stand apart and be just slightly different. Right?
Reclamation of power of I actually own this, and it's a lot of just owning the power to
absolutely
in your life, but not only in your life, in the lives of everybody who's in this universe at the same time as us. Because any positive energy, any energy forward is energy for everybody forward. It's not just for ourselves, and it's never just for ourselves. You can do a spell, you lose something, you want to find something, you do a spell. It's never just for you. It's never for just one object. It's for the greater good of all.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, again, it's just tapping into the frequency. So let's say I want to do like a spell on abundance, and I'm going to put together a spell jar, and I'm going to put things in that jar that draw abundance, what am I doing? I'm actually just tapping into my own self-worth at that point. And I'm just affirming in my own self-worth. And I'm creating a point of focus that makes it easier for me to get there. And that's basically, I mean, if you think about what is an altar, that's what it is. It's a space that you create that allows you to put your mind into a certain state.
Yeah.
So that's really what it is. And it becomes a thought habit. It becomes an energetic habit. So when I get in front of my altar, I get there that much faster, that much quicker. I get into the state of mind and I get into a remembrance of where I'm going. It's just easier to bring up and to generate the type of emotion and power I need to actually send something out into the universe.
Right.
So it's a tool of focus, like many other things, like the crystals that we talk about. This is a moonstone, black obsidian necklace. I wear this constantly. And it's just again, it's just sort of a point of focus for me. It's a remembrance. It's a way to just pay attention to my vibration, pay attention to that. And what do I mean by my vibration? What do I mean is like, what is my state? And isn't that what we're all going for, is a better, easier, calmer, more even state? And that's part of what I'm trying to get at with witchcraft, is that I want to get to a good, abundant, peaceful state wherein I can allow all the abundance possible into my life. And
be
you
willing
know,
to receive, because that's what it really comes down to. You can call the things in, but unless your mind, body, and soul are willing to receive and open to receiving, you won't
yes,
get it. You won't get it unless you're open to
you
receive.
won't.
So you
Yeah,
can
you
do all
won't.
the work, but it's if once the self-doubt starts to creep in, and because we chose to come to Earth, this material world, the physical objects as representations of stuff are important for us. You don't need them,
Right,
right? I can tap into
right.
that by closing my
It's
eyes
true.
and calling them up into my visual space, but to have them physically in front of you and being able to like have your hands on something physical, that's why we chose Earth. That is why we came here, so that we could live
Yeah,
in the material world.
exactly. It's like we came here for a purpose. We came here to experience all of these things. So yeah, the physical objects are part of our experience, part of our human game. All of these things, all of these laws that we're talking about, all of the way to go about getting to the end and getting what you want and fulfilling your life purpose, all of those things work together. And so witchcraft and law of attraction, law of vibration, law of abundance, everything really just actually is in alignment if you're just willing to look at it and tap into it. Actually, it's a beautiful pattern to follow. If you think about, I want to follow a pattern, it's like many other different spiritual patterns and spiritual traditions that people go with. It's because it feels good, and because it gets you to a place of satisfaction in some way, or a place again to reclaim the power. As you said earlier, this is all about a reclamation of power and acknowledgement of our own absolute divinity.
And one of the biggest lessons that I have received from witchcraft is that you can make anything a ceremony. And in fact,
Yes.
the more you make everything a ceremony, the more aligned your manifestations become, the more aligned you become with your soul's purpose, the more aligned you become with attracting the things that you want in your life. The more you treat things as a ceremony, the more even your mind and your body and your soul will be. I mean, it's even making this cup of tea was a ceremony for me. I hold a whole ceremony for myself preparing for this podcast so that we can channel
Right.
divine energy. Going to sleep, waking up, cooking your food, bathing
Right.
yourself. I mean, the options are endless. It's coming
Yes.
out of autopilot and
Yes.
being here now.
Yes. It's a recognition that we have the human choice. It's the choices that we make over and over and over. So when you're talking about make it a ceremony, it's make it an understanding that this is your choice. You're choosing to do these things, and it bumps you out of that autopilot where you just exist and you just go about your day replicating the same patterns over and over. When you're paying attention, everything feels a little bit different. I can feel a little bit more grateful about that water. There's
Yes.
somebody who is real thirsty. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere in earth. So it's like, it's just that. And it makes your life just that much more fulfilling. That if, especially if you can just enjoy the small pleasures, enjoy the small things, enjoy every single bit of your experience. That's part of what I love about it.
And another thing that witchcraft has definitely taught me, and I know both of us, is that the power is strong. Okay, it's nothing to, while it's nothing to be afraid of, right? You also need to be aware of how much I mean, this is how crazy things are. Yeah, I was at a wedding yesterday. I literally mentioned somebody was talking about 80s hair bands, and I mentioned Meatloaf as one of the people that I knew a whole album of Meatloaf. I'm not kidding you. 5 seconds later, Meatloaf played over the speaker. I'm like, this is what I mean. We manifest everything. Everything.
Right. I love that.
Every
Love when that happens.
situation that we choose, we have specifically manifested for some reason. And just right there is witchcraft. That right there.
Right, you're just right there. It's like when you're in absolute alignment and the universe just answers immediately. I love those instant karma moments. I love those like instant, just like moments of wow, the universe is so magic. We had so many of those.
And so that's why
It's crazy.
That's why it's so important to watch your thoughts. And that's why you want to come back to this even mind, right? Because as soon as you start going dark and your mind starts going dark, you are starting to manifest things into your future or into the present moment that aren't going to lift your vibration higher. And so it's super important to go into the ceremony with an even mind, which is the whole reason we do these other practices, to keep our bodies open and to allow energy to flow out, to flow in, whatever it is that we need at that time. But it's super important to realize that we have the power to do whatever we want. And so you have to be careful with that power. You have to be careful with it. I mean, just for example, should we share the foot story?
Yeah, maybe. I think so.
I just think it's a great example of like how powerful we as humans really are. So I'm in the process of, I will be managing a Center of Intuitive Healing Arts. And so we went there. We don't need to like tell everybody who was there, but we went there to clear the energy, clear the space of the energy. And we kind of went into it. I mean, we just didn't, we prepared, but yeah, we kind of just showed up with what we were going to do, and we just jumped right into it. We didn't really ground ourselves. We didn't kind of clear our own energy before we began clearing the energy of an entire building. And so we do the ritual, we do the ceremony, and then afterwards, one of the members who was participating in the ceremony broke their foot. Like minutes after we were finished, we were actually in the middle of a dance party. Afterwards, broke her foot, and then Shannon got home, and her one of her tools was also broken. And so it was a wake up, honestly, to us to be like, whoa, we are powerful, and we have to really pay attention to how we go into ceremony and ritual, because this is no joke. It's no joke. You can, you have to be aware of the vibration of everything in the space before you start calling in or moving out vibration.
Definitely. I think that was a little shocking for all of us when that happened, because the ceremony we did was pretty joyful. We were like dancing at everything, but I think it was just, we called in a lot of power, and we didn't really protect our energies when we did it. So we were in a building that was just full of memory and full of energies, and we stirred some things up. So, that is the kind of like example of why people are kind of scared of it. But at the same time, when we can pay attention and be really in tune with ourselves and really paying attention, this really can move the energy. I mean, we were doing some chaos magic there where we were just not really not being too formal about it, and people do that. And that's actually a lot of times what people are doing is kind of that form of chaos magic. You're just like throwing something out there into the universe. You just get what you get at that point. Yeah. And I think that's part of why a lot of times when people do ritual, they're real specific to stay within the parameters of the ritual because they want to protect the energies and they want to protect the kind of the outcome of
Right.
what they're asking for. And what we were asking for that day was actually just power. We were actions for cleansing power, and please cleanse the space. And it sure did. It like cleansed cleansed what we wanted, and some things we didn't want ended up being cleansed too. So like, hey, you got to be careful what you ask for at times, right?
I mean, the message for the person who ended up breaking her foot, I mean, it was a message straight to her from the universe. And it was a neat
Hmm.
thing for her to kind of like, okay, now I actually have to step back and slow down because I broke my foot.
Right.
And so it was a powerful message to the universe from the universe. And nothing is an accident. Everything
Yeah, nothing is an
is
accident.
and we manifest everything. And so
Yeah. And I took mine as because my tool that broke and it wasn't broken. I used it, I put it away. Next time I took it out, it was broken and it didn't fall. There's no explanation for why it broke, except for that. I think I was taught the lesson of I need to be a little more disciplined with it. I can't just be throwing magic out there like that. And that's kind of what I took about it. So we actually said next time we get together, we're going to do a little bit more cleansing. We're going to take our time. We're
I
going
think
to,
I think it's really important to mention that we were in a circle of people who some of us we've done witchcraft with already. Couple we hadn't done witchcraft with, and so it's really important just to tune your energies into one another before you just jump into something. It's like I
yeah,
have to know your middle name and a little bit of what's going on with you before I decide that we're going to create this container together.
right. But everything is a learning opportunity.
Yeah,
So
everything.
witches, as you're trying stuff out there, as you're throwing this stuff around, just understand that it's real. And that's the whole thing that the witches have known all along is that the
And
power is real.
And as individuals who are open to receiving the messages from the universe, it was a message that we needed to receive.
100%.
It was. So
100% it was.
it's nothing to be scared of. And we weren't scared when it happened, right?
Yeah, we weren't.
It was noted. Okay. Now
We're
we
like, well, okay. All
mhm,
right.
that
Right. So,
is everything.
yeah. I mean, so really just to wrap this up, I mean, I'll end it as we began, which is essentially this. Anything and everything we do as beings on this earth, we have the power basically to create things. We have the power to decide what is our life going to be like. We have the power to decide our own existences, our own experiences, our own realities. And this is just one more way. Witchcraft, call it spirits, call it law of attraction, call it vibration, whatever it is you want to call it. This is just one more way to get to that place of peace and happiness and bliss that we're all really trying to get to.
Amen. And so it is.
All right. Thanks so much for this discussion, Shae. I'm really, again, just thanks for tuning in and listening to us. Feel free to please give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. If you'd subscribe to us, we put a new episode out every single Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're really happy to have you with us. Looking forward to have you with us next time.
Yeah, and please drop your questions, your comments below. Share any stories that you may have with witchcraft or whatever it is that you call your path in this on this earthly plane. So thank you for being with us, and we will see you next Monday.
See you next week.